North America before and after the 7 Years' War. In the map behind me, you'll see before 1754 and after 1763. English is in navy blue, French is in green, Spanish is in turquoise, Russian is in yellow, and gray is in unclaimed by a European power. So I'll move my head a little bit so you can see both sides. We're going to be talking about the 7 Years' War, and I'm going from the Wikipedia.com. 7 Years' War in 1753. French troops from Canada marched south and seized and fortified the Ohio Valley. Britain protested the invasion and claimed Ohio for itself. On May 28, 1754, the war began with the Battle of Jumonville Glen. French officer Ensign de Jumonville and a third of his escort were killed by a British patrol led by George Washington. In retaliation, the French and the Native Americans defeated the British at Fort Necessity. Washington lost a third of his force and surrendered. Major General Edward Braddock's troops were defeated in the Battle of the Monongahela, and Major General William Johnson's troops stopped the French advance at Lake George. In Acadia, the primary British objectives was to defeat the French fortifications at Beausejour and Louisbourg. Forgive me for my pronunciations. Again, you can always correct me. And to prevent future attacks from the Wabanaki Confederacy, French and Acadians on the northern New England border. There was a long history of these attacks from Acadia. See the northeast coast campaigns of 1688, 1703, 1723, 1724, 1745, 1746, and 1747. The British saw the Acadians' alliance to the French and the Wabanaki Confederacy as a military threat. Father Le Loutre's war had created the conditions for total war. British civilians had not been spared, and, as Governor Charles Lawrence and the Nova Scotia Council saw it, Acadian civilians had provided intelligence, sanctuary, and logistical support, while others had fought against the British. During Le Loutre's war, to protect the British settlers from attacks along the former border of New England and Acadia, the Kennebec River, the British built Fort Halifax, Fort Shirley, and Fort Western. After the British capture of Beausejour, the plan to capture Louisbourg included cutting trade to the fortress in order to weaken the fortress and in turn weaken the French ability to supply the Micmac in their warfare against the British. According to historian Stephen Patterson, more than any other single factor, including the massive assault that eventually forced the surrender of Louisbourg, the supply problem brought an end to the French power in the region. Lawrence realized he could reduce the military threat and weaken the fortress of Louisbourg by deporting the Acadians, thus cutting off supplies to the fort. During the expulsion, French officer Charles Deschamps de Boishebert led the Micmac and the Acadians in a guerrilla warfare against the British, according to Louisbourg's account books. But late 1756, the French had regularly dispensed supplies to 700 natives. From 1756 till the fall of Louisbourg in 1758, the French made regular payments to Chief Jean-Baptiste Coupe and other natives for British scalps.